Please wait for 5 minutes. We will come.
Sure. Good morning, one and all present here. I welcome you all to the 94th webinar of the Saturday webinar series by Managed CIA. Talking about the Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship. The Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship is a center of excellence hosted at the National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management. It is one of the leading agribusiness incubators in the country, and Managed CIA has till date supported 450 plus entrepreneurs and incubated more than 300 agri startups from various focus areas of agriculture and light sector. The topic for today's session is urban agriculture, startups in urban agriculture, and we have two speakers joining us today. Our first speaker for the day is Dr. P. Shushila. She is a professor and PI of the project High Tech Research and Training Unit at Kerala Agriculture University. She is actively involved in teaching, research, and extension activities for the last 28 years. Ma'am, can you go first, or would you like us to proceed with the second speaker? Shushila, ma'am? Gaurav, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, that's okay.
And I will also make you the presenter. I think you're already the presenter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll be proceeding with our second speaker, Mr. Gaurav Narang. He's one of our incubators and the founder of City Greens, and their startup is into urban farming, and they've developed an IoT-based vertical growing system that helps to grow food in a very small space with minimal resources, and that way they're promoting people to grow nutritious food. I request sir to take over the session.
Thank
And
you.
I request all the attendees to use chat box to put their questions to the speakers. We'll be taking up all the questions during the Q&A round.
Thank you, Zenith, and thank you, Manage team, for me here again. It's a pleasure. What I will do today is, am I audible? Am I audible to you guys? Okay. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take. I have 20 minutes allotted to me, so I will run you through a part of a presentation. This is the same presentation that I used last week at Agri Impacts, which is India's second largest agri fair, which happened in Coimbatore. In this, what I will cover today are two parts basic. First part I'll cover today is about our journey, what we have done, where we are, and what all we do. And second part, I'll talk about, we are primarily more into urban agriculture. And when we say urban agriculture, we are more into hydroponics, aeroponics, and technologies like that, which are more sustainable and water efficient. So second part will be where I will talk about some challenges which these kind of farms fail. So if let's say some of the participants are interested in developing such farms or setting up such technologies, I will share from our experience of last 5 years what we have seen with commercial farms, what are the challenges they face. And I think I'll stop at there because that's what the time will permit me. And anything further we will take up during the Q&A session. So with this, I'll start. In the first part, let me cover very briefly about what we are and what we do so that you get an idea of from where we are coming. So we are India's leading agri-tech startup. We started with something very, very basic. Our very first product was just a nutrient solution for hydroponics. So anyone who wants to grow food at their home, we gave them nutrients so that using that nutrients, they can grow produce in hydroponic at their home for their consumption. That was the very, very first product. But that was around 5 years back. From that, we have come up a long way now. Right now, where we are, right now, we have a solution which is works into IoT and artificial intelligence. We are working on smart farming. We work on farm automation, and we also work on precision agriculture. So this is on the technology side where we have moved, where we have evolved as a business. And apart from that, what we do is we set up farms in hydroponics, we set up farms in vertical farms. We also do greenhouse farms. So any greenhouse farm, if you want to automate that, or let's say if you have an existing farm where you need automation solution, where you need some precision agriculture to happen, where you are facing some technology or facing some manual issues which can be solved by technology, we do that. This company is founded by three of us. I am there, and then I have two co-founders. I'll not get more into talk more about that. But let's move to what do we do. We manage several indoor and outdoor farms. On your screen, the images that you are seeing are from the live farms which we are currently managing. When I'm saying currently managing, as in on date, these are the farms where our teams are currently growing the produce. We have set up many of these farms, and we are managing all of these farms. So one perspective which we bring on table, which is different from anyone else's, we just don't set up the farms, we also grow. So we are farmers, so we understand what are the challenges that a farmer face. Over last 5 years, we have grown produce in several different kind of farms, and most of these, or I would say rather all of these, have been urban farms. So we understand what are the challenges of scaling up, what are the challenges of running a farm without technology. On your screen, the top left image, which is a pink color image of net pots. This image is from a farm in Vadodara. It's called Super Greens. That's the first ever vertical farm in Vadodara that was set up by us. First ever vertical farm in Ahmedabad was also set up by us. It was called Thrively. The screen at the center middle is from Bangalore. Again, the first ever vertical commercial farm of Bangalore. This was in our office. This was 18 feet high, the tallest in India. So far, we have dismantled it because we didn't commercialize it, or we were not successful at commercializing it. So we have faced enough challenges also. The second image is of a farm in Neyveli. It's for Neyveli Lignite Corporation. Then the third and fourth image are of farms in Ahmedabad, and the last image is of a farm in Bangalore. So we have multiple different farms which we are managing. There are 5 different farms which we are managing currently. And apart from that, we have set up multiple farms pan over India across different locations. Couple of farms which I will talk about, which are noteworthy mentioning here, is India's first ever farm to grow medical grade cannabis. We have set it up very recently. That was the last project we did. We have set up it in Uttarakhand in an hilly area. And the best part about this farm, which makes us proud, is that one, it is not hydroponics, it's aeroponics. So it's much more complex. And when I'm saying aeroponics, it's true aeroponics, where the mist is being used, nozzles are being used, and it's very highly complex system. But the thing which makes us proud is that entire automation in this farm is not running on any Western technology. It's running on Indian technology developed by us and Make in India technology. It's first part of an 18-acre project, which is now going move forward, and the first project is live now. Then apart from that, we have set up farms in multiple different cities. We have set up first commercial hydroponic farms in Coimbatore, Salem. There are multiple different farms we have set up, so I'll move from there. And we have got multiple different kind of recognitions also from Ministry of Science and Technology, from Ministry of Agriculture, and other various industrial bodies. We have got different kind of recognitions at different points in our journey based on what we are doing. So this was basically about what we are doing and what we do. What I have not covered here is our one business section which we started with, which is selling different kind of products on Amazon or other kind of or on our own website for people who would want to grow produce at home. And there is around 1 lakh plus consumers who use our products regularly to grow food for themselves. Now that was about us. Now let's come to the important part which I wanted to cover. There are multiple different kind of farms that we have set up, and when we went into this kind of ecosystem, it's not only our farms that we have set up. We have also talked to farmers where farms have been set up by others, or where farmers have set up farms themselves, and then we have tried to help them in solving the problems that they have come across. Since we are farmers ourselves, we ourselves also face a lot of problems. So we have seen both sides of the coin. We have seen success, we have seen failures. And definitely there is a good amount of success. Around 60 to 70% of hydroponics farms succeed, but 30 to 40% of farms fail also. And what I'm going to talk here is about, in a very, very brief summary, what are the top 2-3 reasons why these farms fail. So different farms can fail for different kind of reasons. But if I cumulatively have to bring it down to 2 or 3 points, saying these are the top 2 or 3 reasons in our understanding, in our own experience of 5 years, and in our experience of dealing with more than 50 different farmers, what are the reasons the farms fail and what are the challenges they face? We have boiled it down to 3 different points, and those are the 3 points I'll talk to you about now. These points are: number 1, scale; number 2, market; number 3, productivity. Now let's talk about each one of it, and let me explain what I mean by these 3 points. Sorry. So when we talk about scale, it's a basic common sense. I mean, if you look at it, anything, if you are doing it at a very small level versus doing something at a very large level, it makes sense when you are doing it at a large level. For example, uh, you are right now listening to this webinar through a device, through a laptop or through a mobile phone or through a tablet, something. Think of the cost of producing one tablet or one laptop. Whether you are producing one tablet or one laptop, you will still have to put in a lot of infrastructure. You will still have to design circuitry. You will still have to put intelligence into it. You will have to put processor into it. You'll have to bear the cost of development. And if you are going to produce just one laptop out of all this investment, you might have to sell that laptops for millions or billions of rupees. But let's say if you are not producing one laptop, let's say you're producing multiple different laptops, then you can divide the cost of production over different laptops. This is a concept called amortization. So once you can scale up, your many fixed costs can get amortized over a large number of units, so that average cost of per laptops comes less, right? It's a very basic and simple thing to understand. And this is one reason where we have seen a lot of farms fail. Now what happens is, and I would not blame anyone in this. If you look at a human psychology, humans are risk averse. When you talk about urban farming, these are new technologies: hydroponics, aeroponics, or vertical indoor farming. These are new technologies, and few people have succeeded, few have failed also. When you are doing your research, you will come across stories of both kind. Now what happens when you read about failures, and I am also talking about failures, but I am trying to help you understand how to avoid them. So when you read about failures, a basic tendency is, okay, let's put a very small amount of money at risk, and then if it goes well, we will move forward. So that's a very human tendency, and it's a right tendency also. The problem is, when you are getting involved in something like an urban farm, like a hydroponic farm or aeroponic farm, the cost of what you are doing initially does matter. That's a capital cost. But one thing which people ignore is the operational cost. Once you have set up the farm, okay, you have your risk capital, you have set up that risk capital, you have set up the farm. But after that, every month you will spend money in operational costs. And only if you are able to recover that money, only if you are able to produce enough, get a revenue which is more than the operational cost, then you can start making profits. Now on your screen, there are two different columns. One talks about a quarter acre and that talks about a 1 acre. These both are for climate control farms. These numbers are not Excel numbers. These are based on our experience. Since we run multiple farms, these are the numbers that we see in the farms. These are average numbers on that. So I will not go through the numbers. You can see these numbers, but I would want you to focus on the last line, which says cost per plant. In a quarter acre farm, we spend around 3.7 rupees per plant per month. Same thing if we move to 1 acre, that 3.7 becomes 2.01. Now look at the difference. The difference is almost around 80 to 85%. And I'm not talking about capital investment. Let's keep that aside. We'll come to that. I'm talking about operational expenses. Operationally, in a quarter acre, if I have to spend 85% more, that means my revenue has to be 85% more for me to make the same money which a farmer can make who is setting up 1 acre. Now to get 85% more revenue per plant, that means I should price my product at a 85% premium from another hydroponic farmer who is giving exactly the same produce. Let's say I set up a quarter acre farm for you and a 1 acre farm for your neighbor. And both cases I am setting up the farm. So if you want to compete with your neighbor who has set up a 1 acre, you will need to sell your produce at 85% premium than what he's selling it at. And there is no advantage that you have because the quality is same. He's growing the same thing, you are growing the same thing. So that's one thing about a scale which people ignore initially. They set up a small farm, then they start producing, growth starts happening. There are some teething trouble which might happen for 1 or 2 months, but you can learn from the guy who are setting up your farm. You can take support from others, and these troubles can be sorted out. But once those troubles are sorted out, once you reach the market, you will have to compete. You will have to compete with the organic growers, you'll have to compete with inorganic growers, you'll have to compete with other hydroponic farmers also. And at that point in time, your operational expenses, your operational cost structure is something which can make or break you. So one problem which I see again and again is a scale. We even get people who say we want to start with 2000 square feet, 3000 square feet. Yes, you can do that. But please understand your objective. When you are doing a 2000 square feet, your objective is to understand, does the technology work? How does the technology work? Or maybe you test the market, say this is what the market needs. I can now go back, I can now scale up, set up a larger farm, and then move forward with my real business plan. Look at that money as an experimental money. Don't think of setting up a 2000 square feet and then making profits, and never think of doubling your money in 1 or 2 years. That does not happen in any business. So this is one thing. If you are planning to go big, if you believe in technology, and there are enough successful farms today, it's not that there are not enough successful farms. There are enough successful farms today. So you don't need to learn everything from, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, the way I say it. It's not that you have to do everything yourself. You can get people who can teach you how to do things, and then you can move forward, go on a scale. Otherwise, also, if you want to start small, then understand it's a pilot for you. Don't have very high expectations, because if your expectations are extremely high and then when these will not be met, then you might start facing, oh, I have done something wrong, maybe this business does not work. The problem is not with the business. The problem was maybe you were misinformed by someone, maybe your expectations were wrong, or maybe you did not do your math. So do that math, look at what size it would be good to start with and go with that size. So that's on the operational part. Even on capital part, a cost of a 1 acre farm will not be 4x or cost of a quarter acre farm. It will at max be 3x. So let's say if you are setting up a quarter acre farm for 50 lakh rupees, I'm just saying a ballpark number, your 1 acre will not cost you 2 crore. It will cost you 1.5 CR, because the amortization and other benefits will kick in, which I talked to you about, right? So I'll not get into detail of that now. I have only 3 to 4 minutes left. Now let's move to the second part. Second part is market. You think about growing the produce and you reach a point where you say, okay, I will get this many grams per plant. But what after that? After that, and before the produce reaches the end consumer, there are multiple steps involved. You need to acquire the consumer. You need to do marketing. You need to package the product in a very good packet, right? You need to transport the product also so that it reaches the consumer. Please look at those costs also. Many a times farmers don't look at that cost. Those costs are also something which you will incur. And when you are incurring those costs, how much those costs are will decide your success. Now, again, think of a small farm, think of a big farm. Let's say you are acquiring consumers through digital media. You want to create a brand, you want to go to consumers directly, and you have chosen Instagram, Facebook, or any such digital media as a platform to acquire these consumers. Now, whether you have a 1 acre farm or whether you have a 10 acre farm, your digital media cost will not vary a lot. You'll still have to spend a lot of money on marketing, advertising, even if you have a small farm. So again, your size being small becomes a challenge. Now again, think of your neighbor also, which I talked to you about. Let's say he's trying to create his own brand. Some third guy is trying to create his own brand. Now all of you are competing against the same digital media. So what's happening? All of you are spending money. Your Google, your Facebook and all will take your money. At the end of the day, you will get very less number of consumers. And to service every single order, you will have to spend a lot of money. So let's say if you are talking about delivery, logistics, every single order, to service that order, you might have to spend some 45 to 50 bucks. So those are the costs which also you should look at, and those costs will only make sense if you are very, very large. If you are not very large, you have two choices. One, don't try a B2C initially, try a B2B. Sell to someone else who can take care of everything else and who can do the B2C. Second, join hands together. Come together with other farmers, come together with your neighbor, and try to approach the market together. So that's on the market part. Why farms fail? People are able to grow, but after that, they don't get the right price. If they get the right price, the cost of servicing becomes very, very high. Now, the third part, which is productivity. What a hydroponic farm, people invest more money, right? The reason you are investing more money is because the productivity will be many times high. If at the end of day you are not getting that productivity, it will not help you. Now your productivity will depend upon the inputs. It will depend upon the kind of seed you are using. It will depend upon the kind of nutrient you are using. It will depend upon the kind of automation you are using. One thing common which I see day in and day out in this is the first thing that people do away with is automation. Think of it. You are setting up a 1 acre farm. You have set up, spend some 1.5 to 1.6 CR. Automation will only take 5 to 6 lakhs, which is hardly 2% of what you have already spent. You want to save 2%. You don't realize that every single crop in your farm is gonna be around 6 to 10 lakh worth. And one small human mistake can make you lose that 6 to 10 lakh rupees. Forget about the human mistake. Even if humans are doing everything perfectly, still the kind of incremental growth you can go get by using automation, by running your pumps at the night time, the kind of savings you can do, the kind of savings in electricity bill that you can get by managing when to switch on and switch off the equipment, those things alone will recover your automation cost in less than a year. But people don't realize that, and they start doing everything themselves. They think it's very easy. It's not very easy. It's not very difficult also, but it's not very easy. And anything which are complex, like let's say management of nutrient, the irrigation cycle, control of electrical equipment, if you can automate that and if you can save cost, if you can increase your yield, you should go for that. Again, another thing, nutrient. People just think, let's get any nutrient from the market, mix it and use it. It may work, it may not work, but better go for nutrient which really works. Because if you look at hydroponic, how it's different from growing in soil you have a lot of nutrient elements which are already present. So you only need to give major macronutrients. That's why all the fertilizers that you see in market are generally NPK 20-20-20 or NPK plus Mg, or they focus mainly on major macronutrients because soil will give you all other nutrients. But in hydroponics, what you are doing is you are starting with RO water, you are starting with zero. Ideally, your nutrient content or TDS content should be zero when you are starting. Now, you need to make sure the nutrient recipe you are giving has 16 different kind of elements, or 10 or maybe 14 or maybe all 16, depending upon which crop you're doing. If you go for a nutrient for the crop, your product will be better. Think of a 8 to 10% increase in yield. That simply means a 8 to 10% increase in revenue when your cost of nutrient will hardly be 1%. Now, those kind of things, if you look at and if you start focusing on, that can help you increase your productivity, that can help you decrease your cost, and that can also in turn result in a better profitability for your farm. So these are the three important aspects that any existing farmer should relook at what they are doing in their farm if they have not relooked at that. If you are setting up or planning to set up your farm, please look at these three things. One is scale, how big it should be to be sustainable. If it's a small, then think of your business model. Don't go B2C, go to B2B or go to do something else. If the second part is look at the market, how you will reach the market, how much will it cost to service the market, and third is look at the productivity. What kind of seeds to use, what kind of nutrient to use, and most important, what can I automate to reduce my cost and increase the productivity? And can I recover my automation money back in less than 1 year? It should be possible if you set up the right kind of automation. With this, I think I'll stop here. I've exceeded my time by 2-3 minutes, and I'll take up questions as it come forward. Zenat, over to you, and thank you everyone for bearing with me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for the beautiful presentation. So now we will invite the next speaker after the session of Madam. Then we can have a collaborative Q&A session with participants. So Sushila, Madam, over to you, Madam. You can start the session.
Please let me share my. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll make you the presenter.
Yeah, let me share.
We'll make you the presenter. You'll be
Okay,
able to
okay,
present.
okay.
Ma'am, if you're facing any difficulty, okay, we can see your screen, but
Inverted, I don't know.
Madam, can you tilt your mobile phone? Presenting from the phone.
Why it is tilted? Yeah. പക്ഷെ അത് tilt ചെയ്യണ്ടേ? Why it is tilted?
it's from your end. You can share your presentation with me. We can share it from our end if it's a problem for you.
I don't know why it is tilted. I'm not familiar with this software. That's the problem. We are doing in another.
Ma'am, you can share me your presentation. I have put it in the group. I'll present it. Can you do that?
You can stop sharing and once again you can try, madam.
What?
You can stop share now, madam, and again once again you try whether it is coming or not. Once you can stop sharing, then again you can try, madam. Or otherwise also you can talk, no issues, madam. If PPT you can see and you can talk, no issues, madam. We can share later on to the participants also.
I don't know. The English stop sharing.
Madam, seeing PPT we can talk otherwise. Yeah, no.
What?
Madam, now you can go to the presentation tab. I think you have opened in your PDF document. You can click on the document. In the Madam, in the toolbar, the center screen down, there is a PDF document. Can you scroll? Can you move your cursor to the down, madam? This towards the center, down. Down, down. Okay, or else you can do one thing, madam. You can send the file to Zenith or email or in the WhatsApp group. So we will load the content from our end.
I'm dropping. And now itself my health condition is very bad. Even otherwise I tried, but it is not coming properly.
No,
very difficult for me.
no problem, madam. You can send an email, madam. We will take care. You can talk, no issues, ma'am. Yeah.
Because no, I'm having fever and my health is bad only.
You can start the presentation. You can start talking about whatever you were going to discuss.
Okay, Jeanette, in the meantime, we can take go around some questions, no, Jeanette?
Yes, we are taking up few questions. Yes.
We have a couple of questions from the attendees, sir. So I'll read out for you.
Now it is fine, I suppose. Now they
Yes.
got the...
Yes.
Madam, it is fine now. Yeah. Oh.
Ma'am, you can go back to the presentation.
It is okay. Okay. തിരിഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ലിരിക്കണേ പിന്നെന്തോ ഓക്കെ എന്ന് പറയണം.
Yeah, Praveen, you can take it up questions. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, Gaurav sir, there are a couple of questions I'll read out for you. The first one is one of the participant is asking to differentiate the cost involved in setting up hydroponics and aeroponics framework. So
Okay,
can you give a light upon this?
sure. See, when we talk about the cost between hydroponic versus aeroponic, see, hydroponics again will depend upon the technology. NFT has a different cost, and deep water culture is a different cost. These are for leafy greens. I'm assuming all of you know about it, or let me just take 2 minutes to explain to you. In hydroponics, depending upon the kind of crop you are growing, you need to decide which structure you are using. If you are growing a small height crop, generally people call them leafy greens, you need a structure which gives minimal amount of support. So NFT channels is one way to use that. DWC is another way to use that. When you are growing tall crops where the small structures cannot provide support, you need, and which have a large root mass, you need to have structures which have enough space for the roots to grow and where the support can be provided by enough amount of grow media. So coco peat is the first thing which people start with when they go to hydroponic. Then other option are using a system called Dutch bucket. Now there is no ballpark cost saying this is the cost. Depending upon what technology you are using, your cost will come. So within hydroponic, let's say if you want a completely NFT based farms of 1 acre, it might cost you around 1.7 CR. You want the same farm with same productivity, same number of crops, and you are okay to use deep water culture, which is easier to manage, then this 1.7 CR comes down to around 1.35 CR. Now, let's say you are planning to grow crops which grow tall and you are going for a coco peat based system. It might cost you only 1 CR. And on top of that, for a coco peat based system, you can get subsidy also. So your 1 CR will also come down to around 60 lakh odd. But if you want to use Dutch bucket, it might be again 1.25. So depending upon what you want to grow, what kind of technology you are using, and if you are taking subsidy from 60 lakh to 1.75 CR is your ballpark range for hydroponics. Now, when you move to aeroponics, again, the cost will depend upon the kind of structure. If you are growing in vertical towers, if you are growing in trays, or if you are growing in big containers kind of thing. The kind of structure we have set up is a structure in which generally tubers for potatoes are grown. So we have set up very, very large containers, which are 2 feet in height and which are around 12 meters in length. Now that kind of a structure, if you look at, the cost is little high. So instead of 1.7 CR, you will end up spending around 2.25 CR per acre. Having said that, in aeroponics, since the roots are in air and oxygen availability is much better, your time to produce becomes very fast. So instead of 6 weeks, you might get your harvest in 4 weeks. And instead of a 200 gram plant, you might get a 220 or 250 gram plants. So that way, the additional investment will help you by giving you a higher revenue, because one is your weight is increasing and you are selling the produce by weight. And the second part is it's growing now much faster. So I think that answers your question. Yeah, so that's it on this question. If ma'am is ready, we can start with her presentation, or if you want to take more questions, I can do that.
Madam, you can start your presentation without the PPT file. That's not an issue.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, madam, we can hear you.
Actually, I am Dr. P. Sushila from Kerala Agriculture University. We have started our high-tech research and training unit during the year 12-13. From there onwards, we are conducting a lot of research in this field, that is in polyhouse farming, hydroponics, aquaponics, automated integrated farming units, then vertical farming, high-tech kitchen garden, and some of the units for cultivating vertically, our own units we have developed. Like that, we are doing a lot of research and continuously giving the training programs in all these subjects. And while selecting startup in the field of agriculture, surely that a particular person should have sound knowledge in that particular subject. That is the main thing. Many of the people are coming forward, but always lacking the basic knowledge. Without the basic knowledge, we can't acquire success. And initially, all the startup people should start with small units. And even for each and every structure or in any of the system, we should follow the protocols. And even while selecting a polyhouse, whether it is naturally ventilated or whether it is fully controlled type of structure, we should consider the structural design. Many of the time I have seen that they are not selecting the structure properly. Suppose if it is a naturally ventilated polyhouse, means surely the design is very, very important. The size of the structure, then side height, central height, roof ventilation, side ventilation, everything. And if it is fully automated also, suppose if you are using fan and pad system, as well as circulating fan and fogger, fully controlling may not be possible. Otherwise, we have to utilize the humidity controlled AC type of structures. Each and every crop need a particular temperature, humidity, light intensity, the duration of the light, quality of the light, then intensity of the light, everything is important. So we have to consider all these factors. From my experience, I have seen that even a small difference in a particular factor, it will greatly influence. Even while in hydroponics, while planting the crop, that also is very important, how you are planting. And similarly, earlier presenter has discussed you about the nutrients, hydroponic nutrients, and that EC level. Different crops have need different EC level, and different stage different will be. And the optimum temperature of the water also, that is the nutrient solution, is also very important. So making the initial water EC is also important. That is, if the EC level is more than 3 millisiemens per centimeter, means there will be great loss for the grower. So all these factors we have to be considered, then only there will be success. In case of hydroponics product is the best product, because provided that particular grower is a very knowledgeable person. Because in hydroponics, nothing less, nothing more, like that. What all things we are providing, it will be available to the plant. And but in case of soil cultivation, even though we are providing, the plant won't get it. Some of the nutrients will get fixed in soil, some will leach out, and some will escape to atmosphere. But in hydroponics, we will get all the nutrients that we are giving. But the grower should have a thorough knowledge. After, even though you are providing an water balance, nutrient balanced mixed nutrient mix is providing, after a particular time, it will become unbalanced. Then topping up of the nutrients is also very important. And all these important factors, the protocols, that should be thorough. Then only he will attain success. Similarly, in case of in hydroponics also, we need polyhouse farming. In aquaponics also, we need polyhouses or any suitable structure. Even interior also we can have, but fully controlled condition. That means the even light also should be provided, artificial light. Similarly, suppose if you are able to provide a completely controlled system, means you can even think of enriching carbon dioxide up to 1000 ppm. If you are adding the carbon dioxide, production can be increased. But at the time of supplying carbon dioxide, we have to ensure that we are providing optimum light levels, optimum temperature, optimum nutrient demand. Everything should be optimum. Then only we will get the positive result. Otherwise, negative result will be there. So in a partially controlled polyhouse, we can never provide a oxygen enrichment. We can't. Like that, there is lot of possibility, but we should have thorough knowledge. And aeroponics, I don't think that aeroponics can be adopted for a commercial scale. To that level we have not reached, because aeroponics, the cost is very high, and if the farmer is making by using this technology, he won't get that much money back. But we can save about half to 1/10 of the time very fast. We can very fast production will be available. In aquaponics means we are utilizing that. That means we are combining hydroponics as well as aquaculture, and in this case we are trying to. That means overcome the difficulties in hydroponics as well as aquaculture. In aquaculture, we can produce very small amount of fish only 3 to 5 fish per 1,000 liter of water. Whereas in case of aquaponics, we can have 100 to 150 number of fish. At the same time, if we are providing aeration 100 to 150 fish per 1,000 liter, whereas if you are providing oxygenation, even up to 300 fish per 1,000 liter will be possible. But in Indian condition, it is very difficult, because even power failure for 5 minutes, complete failure may happen. Anyway, I think for South India, aquaponics is a very good technology, because the climatic condition is favorable. The temperature of water, that is, it should be between 24 to 30 degree, that we can very well assure. But in other states means sometimes the temperature will go below this, and sometimes it will be above that. So heating and cooling will be needed. Under Kerala condition, no need of heating or cooling. And all these technology, aquaponics or hydroponics or polyhouse farming, anything can be utilized for kitchen garden purpose also. Startup people can also think of in that way. That means they can set small units in the houses also. Like that also we are giving more importance, because retired people or housewives, they can utilize the time very effectively by engaging in these things. That will increase their confidence, and at the same time they can have the safe food. In aquaponics, we are getting both fish as well as vegetables, and that aquaponics advantage is we will be getting the vegetables that is safe to eat only. No, we never can use the pesticides, and so it is a technology which is forcing the farmer to become honest. But in that also, in that case also, the grower should have thorough knowledge. But compared to hydroponics, the level of knowledge that is needed is comparatively less, because in aquaponics, even though he is not knowing much, he will get the produce, because the fish waste is continuously producing, and the bacteria is converting the nutrients to that is the fish excreta to the nutrients, and so the plants will get. But if the farmer is having thorough knowledge, means he can overcome all the nutrient deficiency by providing some of the inputs in the fish farm directly, as well as by the foliar application. In hydroponics also, we can avoid the nutrient deficiency symptoms by using the foliar application. And always the farmer should have thorough knowledge about the nutrient deficiency symptoms also. Pest and disease management also is very much essential. And this aquaponics is providing both nutrients, that means both the fish as well as the vegetables. But a particular person need meat as well as egg also. For that, we have thinking in that particular way, we have developed a technology that is integrated farming by complete automation. That means fish we can feed by automatic device. We have developed an automatic device, and then hen also we can provide the feed automatically. Then even though the farmer or the grower is not present for 1 week, all the fish will get the feed, and as well as the plants will get the feed, as well as what nutrients as well as the water. And we in this case we are combining the vertical farming with aquaponics and poultry. That means the poultry excreta is fermented and giving to the fish tank, and then from the fish tank it is circulating to the plants. In that case we are using multi-tier grow bag in which we are filling that is 20 mm metal, or we can also use hydroton that is of size about 20 mm. And then we are also utilizing wick irrigation also in this technology, in this particular unit. And in a 75 square meter area, we can have about 500 to 600 plants, about 7,000 fish, and 10 to 20 poultry also. Like
Madam,
that we can also arrange.
Madam, sorry to interrupt. We are running short of time. We will take the questions posted by the participants. So
Okay.
we will ask the questions one by one.
Okay.
Okay. So the question is for Mr. Gaurav Naran. Sir, some of the participants are asking questions regarding the price competition in the market. So any farmer who would implement this system, so
Right.
again, the cost of production is high, and whether
Yes.
they get the proper price in the market because of the regularly traditionally grown products versus the crops grown in this method. So how to convince the customer to buy these products? Yeah.
Okay, think of it, you don't need to create anything new. There is already a market where people are paying premium. If you look at organic produce, organic food, people pay a premium, right? People are willing to pay a premium for organic food. In organic produce, they don't pay a premium, you sell it in the mandi. The problem is not with getting price from market. A consumer will give you a better price if the quality is good. The problem or the right thing or the right solution that you need to find is what should be your channel. If you go to a local mandi and you give your produce, you don't get a premium whether you are giving organic or inorganic. A local mandi, if you ever have been to, they have a day's rate. The trucks will come, they will offer that rate irrespective of what quality you are offering. So you have to look at different channels. Now, if you talk about hydroponic produce, the quality is way better. The look of it, the feel of it, the taste of it is way better. So people are willing to pay a premium. But now how to get that premium? So there is different market segment, different consumers, how you can reach them. One possible way and one which everyone starts thinking when they think of hydroponic farm is to create your own brand, directly create a D2C brand, go to market and sell it. For example, we had set up a farm, which was our very first commercial farm. For first 3 years, we were doing research. And then only 2 years back, once our research was over, once we were able to make sure that everything will work, we started setting up the farm. So first commercial farm we had set up was called Gabbar Farms. You can check their website. They are now #1 farm in Ahmedabad. They have created a beautiful direct-to-consumer brand where they are selling not only organic produce, they are also aggregating all other kind of exotic produce and selling. Last 2 years, they have become #1. They started with one farm. Now they have two farms and we are managing both their farms. Of the 5 farms we showed you, 2 are farms which we are managing for them. So that's a D2C model, but then it again takes a lot of money in acquiring customers. Then other model, you tie up with multiple players in between. For example, we sell to other hydroponic growers. Like in Bangalore, there is Woolly Farm, there is Gume Garden. We sell to these guys from our farms and then they are spending money in acquiring the consumer. Please understand it's an economy and everyone is playing a different part in that. Let's not try to get every part of the pie for yourself. Let's not say that I will get the entire money. Let me sell it to someone who can then sell it to someone and who can also make the money. Let's collaborate, right? So other market segment which works for this is hotels, restaurants, and cafes, especially Italian cafes or cafes which are serving salads and fresh foods or pizzas or pastas, these kind of things. So they aggregator. So you provide your produce to these aggregators who can then sell to hotels, or you can directly sell to hotels. Very recently, forget recently, today onwards in Bangalore, if you go to Milk Basket, you can get hydroponic produce from there, which is an exclusive tie-up with City Greens. From City Greens farms, they are getting it. Now, as a consumer, you can get it. But rather than me creating the brand, I'm just giving it to Milk Basket, who is now gonna sell it to the consumer. So you have to look at your channels, and you need to make sure that the channel is right. Money is there in the market. People need good quality. They in fact want good quality. They are not able to get good quality at different places. But you should not try to do everything yourself, because if you will do marketing yourself, packaging yourself, delivery yourself, and in addition to this, growing also has to be done by you. And this will become a chaos. And for one individual, it's very difficult to do all those things. So look at the right market. You can get good price. Even today, open any app, open Big Basket, open Milk Basket, and look at the premium. Hydroponic produce is already getting a premium. Yeah. So I think that is my answer to this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. This question is open for both the speakers. Anybody can answer this. The question is regarding subsidy and licenses for this urban farming techniques. So if any farmer who would like to venture into this, so whether he needs to take any specific license to sell these crops grown by using these methodologies, and to set up the infrastructure, whether any subsidies available from the government. So anybody can.
Ma'am, will you like to take it, and then I can add after that?
That is subsidy means urban farming like that. I don't think it is in Kerala. It is not like that. But innovative farming, for that they are giving some subsidies. Even for constructing the structure as well as for cultivating also some subsidies are giving. But earlier for constructing the structure, 75% subsidy like that they were giving. But nowadays subsidies are comparatively less. But innovative farming, for in case of aquaponics, that fisheries department is giving. Similarly, agriculture department is giving for polyhouse structure and all, and some support is giving, but not to that extent. It is not, and a certificate is very much essential for starting up any of the venture. Certification is essential according to my knowledge.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
So I'll add to that. I'll divide it into two parts. When it comes to subsidy, let's talk about center and state separately. Agriculture is a state subject, so different states have different policies. So whichever state you are planning to set up your farm in, go to the horticulture department, visit and understand, do they have any specific subsidy for that? So that will be state specific. I cannot cover that here. But on central level, you get one subsidy which comes from NHB, which is for structure, which you will get provided you are not growing in hydroponics. That subsidy is available for soil and for coco peat. So if you are doing a coco peat and the size needs to be more than 2,500 square meter, you will get subsidy. The moment you move away from coco peat, you don't get subsidy. That's the status as of today. And in the same breath, let me tell you, there is already a panel which is working in the center to come up with subsidy for hydroponics. And in next 1 year to 18 months, we are hopeful that subsidy will come. So right now the guidelines are being framed. The problem is, for giving any subsidy, you need to have guidelines, and hydroponics, there are no standards. So once that standards come, subsidy might come. Today, there is not. Coming to certification, this is like a business, right? So even you don't get agri loan for this, they say it's a business. So any certificate which will apply to a business applies to this. There is no specific need of any separate thing to do if you are getting into a hydroponic farming. There are farms we are managing, there are business we are doing, and these are all legal businesses. So, but any business license, any business regulation which apply to your state will apply to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir, for the explanation. Any participants would like to raise their hands and ask questions? Please let us know so that we can unmute you and get the questions.
I think Akshat Raj has a question. I'll unmute him.
Okay.
Other attendees can raise their hand and we'll be taking up the questions. Akshat, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, do you have a question for the speakers?
Ma'am, my question was the same that sir has already told that the price
Okay.
is in the market among these. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Any other attendee would like to ask question can raise their hands. We have Jaspal Singh Noel. Jaspal sir? Jaspal sir, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah. My question was very simple, like, because every apeda is found in every state, and apeda plays a very big role in promoting farm products and everything.
Sir,
Please continue
go
with your
ahead.
question. Mr. Jaspal, please continue with your question.
I think we have lost him.
Okay, fine.
We have a few more hands raised. Guru Darshini. Guru Darshini.
I think you heard me, ma'am.
Here?
Hello, ma'am. Do you hear me?
Praveen, can you hear?
Yeah, can you be little louder, sir? Your voice is low.
Sir, is it audible right now?
Yeah, better.
Sir, my question is like any of the institutes like IGR or any of the institutes have model for this hydroponics? Have any setups like this kind of plants can be grown in this setup? It will be successful like that. Any models are available in the institutes like IGR institutes? This is my question, sir.
Sir, your question is not clear. I heard only about some ICAR Institute, something. So are you asking
Models on hydroponics? What are the models available?
models? Okay. So what are the models on hydroponics is asking?
Yes.
Okay. Gaurav sir, can you answer this? He's asking what are the different models for hydroponics?
What I understood was he said what are the different kind of models which can be successful, what plants can be grown and how you can have successful models. So see, a very straight and simple answer is there is no successful model unless you tell me which location you want your farm, what's the kind of investment you need, what is your market. At the end of day, you are growing a crop. So what kind of, and ma'am covered it very beautifully. What you cannot do, you cannot set up a climate control everywhere. You set up a climate control near Chennai, it will fail drastically. So you have to look at whether you want, what crop you want to grow and which environment you are. Now, depending upon that, then you will decide what technology you will use, what kind of infrastructure will be there, what kind of automation you will put, and then how you will sell it. And hydroponic model can be successful in every different location, but the answer which works in one location will not work in another location. I can say this from experience because we have set up farms in 11 different states. We have set up in hills also, and we have set up in deserts also, right? So what I will do is, what you can do is to get initially started. You can go to our website, visit the farm page. There is a small presentation there which will answer your all these questions. That presentation says is about how to get started about commercial hydroponics. Tells you what are the different decisions you need to make. The first decision point is around what kind of poly house, what kind of environment you will do. Then the decision about what kind of crops you want to grow, and for those crops, what technologies can work. Then what all you can automate. So you can go through that presentation and that will help you understand. And if you have any more questions, then you can come back to us. But unless and until we know your location, we know your budget, we know we know what your expectations are from your farm, we know what crop you want to grow, we don't know where you want to sell it. I can't give you a successful model. Right. So this is the honest and true answer which I can give to you.
We'll
Sir,
go
thank
to
you.
Srinivas.
Yeah.
Mr. Srinivas, can you hear us?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I have a specific question. What we do is we are from the technology side for the for the poultry right now we are concentrating on. It gives a complete end-to-end traceability. It's like a digitization across every level of operations in the poultry. So the thing is like, will there be, see, while selling our products to lower end customers, like below medium customers, they are facing the cost is too high. So will there be any subsidies for this one for them so that they can have the affordability, and we are fine with that in selling? Hope I am clear about the question. And also, the product is not limited to poultry. This can be diversified to other areas of agri as well. But right now we are concentrating on poultry. Please suggest on subsidies for the farmers so that the cost can be effective.
Madam, sir, anybody would like to answer?
Actually, subsidy is government policy, no? Each and every district will, state will have their own policy, and the central also will be providing certain, but nowadays subsidies are getting reduced, and poultry means veterinary departments you have to contact, and what are the support that they are going nowadays. Every year their mode of action will be changing, subsidy rate, everything will be changing. You have to contact, suppose if you are staying in a particular state, means you have to contact them only. No, but I can't tell different state, it will be different criteria.
Okay, madam, thank you.
Even though the subsidy pattern is there, means in a particular area, sometimes it won't be, because whenever there is demand, then only they will put that particular project in that particular area. Even though the government is having subsidy, sometimes we won't get, because in that particular area, sometimes in that particular that won't be there. That also is there. You have to inquire.
Madam, thank you. Actually, due to shortage of time, we will be winding up the session. But however, we have shared the details of the speakers in the chat box already, and we'll be also sharing the slides of the presentation to all the participants. Now I invite Zeenat to propose vote of thanks for today's session.
Yeah, thank you,
Before
Praveen.
that, let me say sorry, because actually my health condition is very bad, and even otherwise, since I promised, I thought of yesterday it was slightly worst condition, and so I couldn't perform. That I couldn't show the slides also. Anyway, sorry
That's
for
fine,
that.
ma'am. We'll share it with our attendees. So we did get a lot of questions during the session. So all those people whose question was not answered today, they can connect with the speakers directly. We have shared the mail IDs. One important announcement, there is Managed Samiti Agri Startup Awards. Applications are open. Agri startups can apply for the awards. I have shared the link in the chat box. Now I would like to thank both the speakers for their time today, and then I would like to thank Director General of Manage and Dr. Savanaraj for making this happen, and to all the attendees for being so patient, and the team behind this webinar. Thank you, one and all. We'll meet you at the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.